This is RC Tech Pro Flying, giving you a little run through on how I balanced my solos, my props, and also balancing the motors. I'm just going to give you a small little video here to show you what I've done. So the first thing we're going to talk about is our props. So if we look at our props, I'm using the Dubros. This is the one that I purchased, which I felt is probably one of the better balancing prop tools. It's been very successful with balancing props. So what I've done was with the master screw probe props, you're going to have to get this tool that screws into your props, because it doesn't come with the kit. I think I've noticed on Amazon there's a possibility that they have two different type of kits. One with this type of shaft that screws right into your bolt. So what I've done was I want to show you how I've balanced it. So generally those props are not always perfect. So this is basically a well-balanced prop. Generally I usually have this balancer on the back step, because I'm going to show you another prop how unbalanced another one is. So this is a pretty well balanced prop. You can see how it kind of stops, and if you put it at an angle like this, it should eventually stop and stay. And then if you go this way, it also should stay as well. So this is a perfectly balanced prop right here. So that's exactly on both sides. Now what I've done for this is to get it to balance, and I'll show you on another one, but I've taken, this is number 60 paper, sandpaper. It's sort of a little rough, not too rough, and what I've done was, you can use tape, electrical tape on it to balance your props, and what I've done was I've sanded the props down here, so whatever side the props fall, and I'm going to show you one prop that's really unbalanced. It's not a master screw prop, it's for my other quads, and this is a complete unbalanced prop. It doesn't stay either one. So the side that it falls down, obviously that is the heaviest side, so you need to put weights on this side. So let's just use a quick example of using electrical tape, and then I'll show you what happens to the prop. I'm just going to kind of peel off a small piece and kind of just stick it on. You're going to have to cut it until you get it to, this is kind of a bigger piece, so I think our prop was, yeah, so we put one, let's just say right here. And that's really off balance. This prop is really off balance. So the example that I use is, generally what you'll do is you can cut pieces off. So let's say you're adding the tape on here. Let's say I'm going to just put, let's just put some extra tape on here. That prop is in really bad shape. It is not a master screw prop. You noticed how I added the tape, and now it's almost balanced with all that tape that I add on there. And what you do is you can get one of those knives, or even one of those craft knives, and just start cutting, or a box cutter, and just cut a little bit at a time. Lay it here, and then you'll notice that the props get balanced. Once you've accomplished the balance on the prop this way, then on this hub right here, you're going to notice what I did with the master screw props. So I've gotten my file, and I started filing it down. And how you determine where you need to do that is, if, let's say for instance, the prop is perfect, but when you hold it at this position here, and then let's say for instance if it falls that way, that means that this side is heavier. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to sand it down, and do it really easy. Just start sanding it down like that. Try it again, and if it falls again, you still have to do it, and eventually what will happen is it'll start doing it really slow until you get to that point. And sometimes you might have to do both sides. You might take off a little bit too much on one side, and then it starts going on the other side. So once you've accomplished that, then you should have this perfect balance where the prop would actually stay in its position at this 45-degree angle, like that. Okay, and the same thing for the other side. So that's that. Once you've done this with the props, that's going to help make the solo fly a lot smoother. So when you're increasing in speed, you won't transfer all that vibration to the body of the aircraft. Okay, now balancing the motors. How I did that, I downloaded Vibrometer. You can download that for an Android phone. And generally what this looks like is like that. It basically picks up vibration. So what I do is, if you got the Solex app, you can also do it on Mission Planner. Okay, so what I do, this is best to do it on the rug. So this way you don't have any vibrations on a table or something like that. So I'm going to show you that. So I'm going to go ahead and show you what happens. And right now, it's like I said, it's best to do it, or you can push some cushions underneath the legs of this. So we're going to start one of the motors, and you got to pay attention to this. I'm going to kind of take the phone off of this stand here and show you what happens. So if you see that now, okay, if you see that now, what happens is I'm going to start one of the motors. So let's start off one of them. You see that right there? Oh, it's vibrating. Okay, let's go with another motor. It's going to be the rear, I believe. Yep. Alright, you see the vibration on that. I'm going to start another motor off. Notice how low the number is on that one, even though it's a little noisier. And let's try another one. Alright. Before I had actually balanced these props, these motors, they were up in the 2s and 3s in vibration. So what I did was, to balance it, I took, see if I find it on one of these. Okay, there is, right there, you see a small, it's what they use is for air conditioning, it's foil tape. It works best because it stays on there and it holds up to cold temperatures, hot temperatures. I don't know if you'd want to use tape, like electrical tape, because it may come off. But I've used this, so what happens is you have to do the same process as your props. You cut a small piece, and you'll have to take it, move it one place. If that doesn't do it, sometimes it gets worse. Take the tape and put it off, and just keep moving it around the motor till you find where the number of the vibration lessens. And you want to try to get that number real low as possible. Sometimes some motors are really banged up if you've had a crash or something, and then it causes a lot of problems. But once you've accomplished that, let me tell you, I'm going to show you the difference between the motors unbalanced and the props unbalanced, and how much vibration. Now this one doesn't have the gimbal, but I do have my other. This is Solo number 3, and I use this one basically just for test flights, or faster flying with this one. And my other one with the gimbal, I use it for aerial flying and taking pictures and videos on that one. So I'm not rough, but I did the same process for both of them. Once you've accomplished this without the gimbal and you establish a stable operating solo, you put the gimbal on it, you're going to have a seriously smooth machine with the great videos. So that's what I did on this here to create really good videos, smooth flying. So when you hit those high peaks, if you're racing the quads or going really quick on it, you won't see that really serious vibration that goes along when you're flying at high speeds. So anyways, I'm going to show you another thing that I did with my Solo. Okay, so usually the Solo comes like this, and you notice that there is movement in between there. Even though you have the rubber grommets to try to isolate some of the vibrations, this thing still has some play in it. So, you know, even though there's nothing to stabilize it like a gimbal, you can actually, if you're not going to be using it or you don't have a gimbal, you can actually isolate this. I'm going to show you what I did with my other. I'm going to go ahead and take this off, and let's shut off our, I'm going to turn it upside down and show you what I've done with that. So,
connection lost.
Alright, so this is what I've done.
Disconnected.
On
Vehicle type is Solo.
Alright, this is what I've done. So I've added rubber foam, which is it's kind of a rigid a little bit, and what I did was I cut it out and I put it in between here. I also cut the tie strap that holds this HDMI cable inside, because it is tie strapped to the body or the PC board. So I cut that so it's got more freedom there and it doesn't transfer, again, vibration onto it. So this foam, what it does is it keeps it nice and stiff and still isolated by the foam. Believe me, I've done this and I've seen the difference, and it's completely smooth. This is, at times when I have it in sport mode and it's sitting there hovering in the air, it stays so stable because the props are balanced and the motor are balanced, and obviously it just sits there and it's just smooth. It's almost like it has a gimbal. So these are some of the processes that I've done to have a well-flying machine, and also that's going to also cut down on some of your battery because the vibrations can lose your performance because it's actually fighting against the smooth riding equipment, your aircraft. So that's pretty much it, YouTubers. If you have any question, feel free to write back your comments. I'd like for you to give me a thumbs up if this was very helpful, and subscribe. And we got plenty of other videos that we can bring to your attention to help you have a really good flying Solo. Anyways, we're out. Take care, YouTubers. RC Tech Pro Flying. See ya.